Like, I feel like we should boycott. Hello, boycott The View. No, don't watch it anymore.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I know. Sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah.
We are empowered right now as women to say what we think.
And then the other lady... You're listening to the Calm,
The Storm,
The Whimsy
podcast.
Are we recording? Yes. Okay.
Oh, good.
So this week, everybody in my family went to bed like super early. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to sit here and edit some pictures and just sit here in the quiet because I like the quiet. And I'm sitting there and I hear, please change battery. And I'm like, what? And it's late and it's like quiet. And I'm like, okay, that was weird. I'm sure that just happens once. I've never heard that sound ever before in my life. And then I hear, please change battery. And I'm like, what was that? So I get up all brave, walking around the house. Please change battery. And I'm like, what is happening?
The heck?
So I go in the laundry room and I'm like, please change battery. It's like faint. So then I go into the office. No. I'm like looking everywhere. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Like, what did we get that I've never heard before say, please change battery? So I'm like, all right. So I open the basement door. And it's like, please change battery. And I'm like, oh, I can't go down there. Like, I don't know who's down there. What if the spider returned? So I'm like, all right. This warrants to wake up my husband. So I go upstairs.
This you can wake him up for.
I'm like, Lenny, there's something making noise in the basement. And he goes, whose basement? What basement? And he looks around and he's like in that like weird state. And I'm like, our basement in the house that we live in right now. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, something's in downstairs making weird noise that I've never heard before saying, please change battery. And he's like half asleep. He's like, what? Okay. So he gets up and he like comes down the steps and I'm like creeping behind him. And it was walkie-talkies that Leo bought, and they left on.
Oh, my gosh.
Talks to you
Yeah,
when the
when the
battery's
battery's
dead?
low. Please change battery. And I'm like,
Oh, I thought you were going to say that Lenny's battery needed changed or something.
he's like,
sleeping. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I went for a run on a Sunday morning with our friend Kim, and we were running 4 miles, and we decided that we would park like one car at one parking lot and one car at another parking lot. So like she parked, then we both drove in my car to the other parking lot, and then she would just drive us back. So we go for our run, and we get all the way to the end of the run, and never processed it, never thought about it at all. And she says, I don't have my keys. And I was like, what? We both like looked at each other, and I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, we'll figure it out. Like,
of course, Crystal's calm in this situation.
Alicia's nearby. We could call her. So we both call her. No answer. We text her. Like, no response. Because we were running in the valley. And so we just were like, I literally remember telling her, oh, just put your keys in the glove compartment. It'll be fine. Because we never processed this whole thing. So we had to run 8 miles.
Oh.
And I have to say, honestly, it was daunting in the beginning because I was like, are you kidding me? Like, we literally were like, what are we going to do? Because this is not what we planned. We only planned for 4. Both of us had not ran 8 in many years. And so we were like, okay, so we'll walk, then we'll run, and then we'll walk, and then we'll run, and it will take us a while, but we'll get there. Well, we started off and we decided that we were just going to run the rest of the way. So we ran 8 miles instead of 4.
Oh my gosh. If
I
I would have started off and been like, I'm going to crawl the rest of the way.
Well, Sarah texted me and was like, you need to run with us next year. And I said, I don't like to run. It does not sound fun. And she goes, well, it is with a bunch of friends. I'm like, you'd pretty much have to follow me with a knife to get me to run
Same.
for any amount of time. She goes, well, that can be arranged.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want to pee my pants running because
No.
I can't stop.
And
to
so
go to
how
the
did that 8
bathroom.
miles go? Did anybody pee or?
No pee. It was a really good 8 miles. I felt really, really good.
How long did it take you?
Well, it took us like 40 some minutes there and 40 minutes
Wow, that's
back.
not bad.
So,
That's it?
yeah, like 80.
I would have been gone for like 9 hours. It's
like almost an hour and a
I would have
half.
put out like a missing persons.
Can
Well,
we
they had our
can we
phone.
Uber?
Yeah, Uber, please.
Right? So I honestly, there was like some people in the parking lot and I was like, I'm tempted to just ask for a ride.
Yeah.
Because they're all runners. So like, I didn't feel like we would be
Oh, I would have done it.
like, and but there was also this like challenge in us too that was like, we can do this.
yeah.
You could have called the police and been like, hey, can I get a ride?
We don't have our keys.
We locked the keys in the car 4 miles away.
So
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Anybody else have stories?
Yet.
That's a first. No story.
I don't know.
I'm really shocked. You don't have a
There
single
has to be
story.
something.
I'm sure there is, but I can't remember.
No kid stories or anything?
I could look on my Facebook because if I have a story, I probably posted it. Oh, I'll tell you this.
Oh,
Oh, here we go.
tell us.
Okay, we all know I'm not a crazy sports mom, right?
Yes.
But I love to watch my children play still when they do. And the first game I missed of Isley, but I'm going to brag about it because it was crazy. Like, I reminded myself of Kelly because I was at a wedding checking my phone, watching all these videos, and like usually if she misses games, I'm like, "Hey, psst, we got to come over here and do something." She's like, "I'm sorry, watching the live feed right now." So
That might have happened.
yes, it did. So I was like, "Please send me videos, you guys. Please, I need to know what happens if she scores." She has not scored so far. It's new to her this year. And she actually hadn't even caught the ball in
Right.
flag football yet. So the first game I miss, I get videos of her catching and scoring
It
twice.
was amazing.
The videos were awesome.
So good.
So I was so excited for her. I called her and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But I asked her, I'm like, "So that second one," because there was a video of her and she was like clumped into a group of people in the end zone. It was like a huge throw, like a, what is a Hail Mary kind
Yeah.
of throw.
Yeah.
And in the video, you can see her catch it and look around like, "Wait, the ball is in
I
my
didn't
hand."
even know she caught it
I
till
know.
the group broke up.
Yeah, because I
Was
heard
she in the end zone?
Yes.
Yeah.
She literally, and I
Oh.
She got
asked her
that-
and she goes, "It literally, I don't know. It just happened." She said it just
was awesome.
happened.
Oh my
My
goodness.
boys were actually talking about her today on the way to their practice. They're like, "Can we go to Isley's game Saturday?" I'm like, "Well, Ike, you're playing at the same time." He's like, "Oh, are we going to be able to go to another one?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just depends on what time all the games are for playoffs."
She had such a good support system. There were so many people there that day, but I was heartbroken.
It's so
You
hard.
missed it.
I
so
missed
hard.
it. But I'm like, I asked her, I was like, "Were you sad I wasn't there?" And she goes, "A little." But she said, "But I knew that you would see it." Like, she
Aw.
trusted that people were going to send me stuff.
Oh,
so.
yeah. If not Kelly, Brittany.
They
for
both
sure.
did.
I got
Okay.
the score. I didn't get the end zone one.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, I didn't even know that was. I didn't. What? Because
Well,
it went into overtime.
Yeah.
And I was getting super
Oh.
nervous because I had to get Ike all the way to North Canton. And I had to leave because Lenny's like, "Let's get a picture of the boys holding Isley on their shoulder." I'm like, "That'd be perfect." And then it went into overtime, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna make it."
Oh,
So I had to like book it out of there.
gotcha.
It hurt. It hurt. But I'm super proud of her.
That's amazing.
Now I never want to miss
and
another
I missed
game
it
for the
too
rest
because
of my
we
life.
weren't there.
Yeah.
So Strider missed it. Everybody.
Yep.
Well, maybe next week.
But go Isley. Woo.
Woo, 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 woo. Welcome back. Today we're diving into the fun topic that might make some of you smile and some of you, well, maybe rethink your own relationships. We're talking all about traditional husbands. Those guys who work hard, love even harder, and might just open your car door, whether you like it or not. Whether you're a fan of old school chivalry or you think it's time for a modern twist, we've got plenty to unpack today. Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's celebrate those men who bring the best of tradition into today's world. So, I thought it would be fun to talk about this because I actually made a slip when we were talking about trad wives and said trad husbands. And so it's just kind of funny. And so now here we are talking about trad husbands.
Yeah.
So is the trad husband somebody with like slicked back hair with a suit and a briefcase that comes home every day? Dressing up like the 50s and the dresses.
Right? Takes his shoes off at the door.
That's what Lenny does. He slicks back all his hair. Brings in his briefcase. He's like, hey, baby.
Where's my dinner?
Make me some homemade bread.
My sandwich.
Yeah. Make me a sandwich.
So what does it mean to be a good man in today's society? And does that differ from past generations?
Well, I feel like it depends on who you're asking.
Yes, for sure.
And when we talk about good men, good women, good people in the society that we're living in, I feel like the bar's set kind of low now.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I feel like people are trying to be more, I don't know what the right word is, modern about it, or I don't know. It's not new age, but like what? I don't know. But I don't like it.
So when I think back, like, to the traditional husband, this is what I picture in my brain. Mm-hmm. Guy works probably late, comes home, wants to sit down, have a beverage, and not really do anything, like, except for relax. Mm-hmm. So, like, the traditional wife takes care of everybody, gets the kids bathed, put them to bed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, not like hands-on.
Yeah, but see, like today, as a traditional husband, or as my husband, he'll go to work, and then he'll come home, and then he'll play with the kids, and then he'll put them to bed, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's changed. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like they're more hands-on with, like, the roles have changed some.
Well, the good ones.
I agree. The good ones.
Yes.
The good men.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when I think about like past generations and even current, like the stigma that comes along with men is masculinity. Mm-hmm. And that masculinity falls into the category of like handle difficult situations without showing emotion and weakness. And it's like ingrained in them. And so like, I feel like in past generations, it was very much like encouraged to suppress your emotions, focus on strength, be the man, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now we, like, the good in society is you should probably make sure that your emotions are okay. Like, that you're okay, that maybe you need to talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's okay for you to feel weak or down on yourself and things like that because you're human.
Yeah.
Where I feel like in the past that was like a no.
Yeah. So, and I feel like sometimes it even is still like that.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's how men
are
relate
taught
to the world around them.
But there's a lot of extra that comes with that.
Yeah.
Like you said. And I personally think it's super hot when a man is emotional.
Yes.
Just saying.
I mean, I think some women are afraid of it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to handle it. And because I also think that they don't know how to handle their own emotions too. Yeah. Or haven't had to. And so then when you have somebody who's going to express their emotions to you, that's a man, it's like,
yeah.
Like,
what do I do?
How do I handle that? Do I pat you on the back? Do I, like, what does that, there's so much behind that.
Yeah.
I also think that it's attractive to have a man that's like going to express his feelings, emotions.
Yeah. Not necessarily sit in a corner and cry all the time.
Right.
But be emotional.
Tough,
have emotional.
But be emotional.
Moments, yeah.
And I think that ties into what you were talking about, Kelly, about being hands-on, because when you're emotionally attached, then you are able to be hands-on with family and kids instead of just coming home and having the drink and sitting in your chair and reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
You are now engaged
Yep.
in your family because you have feelings.
Yeah. Well, and a provider isn't just about money.
No.
But I feel like back in the day, that's
It
what it
was.
was about.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah. But in my mind, a good man
Well, right.
providing is providing more than just the food on the table.
Right. I agree. They're
Yeah.
present with
Yeah.
the kids when they're home. But there's a lot of pressure on them,
So, yeah.
to be that person that provides. So,
And protects.
and they want to make sure their family has everything they need. And so that's got to be hard, like mentally, to have all that on your shoulders. And then,
Well, and I think even when women contribute to the income, it doesn't take that pressure away. So they still feel like even if you're a partnership and they're okay with us like doing our side jobs and things like that, or if we made more, or if we made equal to what they make, like I still think it's in a man's like DNA to be the provider, to be the one that takes care of his family.
Yeah.
In a good man's DNA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I think that this is where the defining changes come, because it's ingrained in every man to want to provide and take care of, but it's how they do that
Right.
that defines a good man
Yeah.
versus just a man who's doing the daily grind.
Right. Yes.
So, how do good men navigate a society where some traditional male roles are less relevant? And how do they bring value to women's lives? Oh my goodness. So this is what I'm going to bring up right now. So, value to women's lives, okay? The View has this video out there right now that is talking about asking women if they need men in their lives. And most of those women said no.
Yep.
I watched that clip and I was so sad for
Yeah.
men
Oh
and
my
for my boys.
gosh.
I'm like, what is this?
I was
Terrible.
heartbroken.
Talking about their husbands like that.
Right there. I mean, you're talking about your husband. You're not talking about your husband with like two friends in somebody's basement. You're talking about this on national TV, telling them that you would be in your own filth if you didn't have a woman in your life. And like,
It's awful.
are you kidding me?
Okay.
Oh, here she goes.
It got me a little fired up.
Good.
Okay.
Yes, it should.
So
I feel like it should.
I wrote The View, ew, because first of all, I want to know why women like that have tons of viewers
Right.
and support and followers, because they're trashing people all the time, and it makes me crazy. So that frustrates me. But then the very first question they asked was, do women need men? And they all said no. But do men need women? And they all said yes. And so I was thinking about that. And I was thinking about our sons and our daughters. And I feel like it is a little tricky because I don't necessarily want to teach my daughters to need a man,
Right.
because it doesn't necessarily mean that their future has that. Like, and not everybody gets married.
Right.
Not everybody has a man to rely on. So I want to teach my daughters to be independent, to be strong, to be able to function, to be able to provide for themselves. But that doesn't mean that they don't respect men or that they don't think they're useful, because one of the main things that they kept saying is that men are useless. Men are
Right?
useless. And that frustrates me because I feel like we keep encountering in today's society where women have worked to get so far. We've worked to be able to vote. We've worked to be able to do this. We've worked to be able to have a career. We've worked to be able to have our own rights and blah, 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 blah. And that's wonderful. Like, I want to have rights and I want to vote and I want to be independent and I want to be strong. But the moment that you put me in this category of women who, because we've worked so hard, we get to stomp on men, makes me angry. Do I think men need us? Yes, I do, because God created us to be their helpmate. He literally created us for them.
For that purpose.
Yes. So do they need us more than I want to teach my daughters to need a man? Yes. Like, maybe. I feel like that's biblical. But I also don't want my boys to be disrespected that way.
Right.
Men are not useless.
Oh my gosh. That part was so angering for me.
Yes.
Because I am raising 2 boys right now.
Yes.
That are going to be good men.
Yes.
And I don't know. Like, this is why men cannot move. They cannot move. We live in a society where they are stuck because everything that they do, everything that they say is wrong, bad, or judged.
Yeah.
And that is why suicide is so high in men.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
Yeah.
And all of us here at this table are raising 2 boys.
Yes.
Each. And what in the world do they have to look forward to if they are useless?
Yeah.
If that's what they're told.
They aren't valued.
No.
They don't feel valued. They work hard and they just don't feel like validated for any of their actions sometimes, which is hard.
Why does women being empowered have to mean that men are belittled? Like, that shouldn't be a thing.
Right.
And women who think that way and believe that way, that's useless to me. Like, I don't get it.
Right. What are you contributing to society by putting men down? I'm sorry. There are not good men out there.
Yeah.
And I know people have been hurt.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I understand all of that, but that is not every man.
Yeah.
And there are good men, and I'm sorry, but, like, for people to say that they're useless?
Yeah.
Like, really? You wouldn't be here if there wasn't a man.
Yeah.
Like, so you must be useless.
Right.
Right? I mean, come
There's
on.
a lot of terrible women, too.
Yes.
And they treat men poorly, and then...
Yeah. I mean, I saw another video as we were, like, looking through all these things that said, like, come find me. I'm somebody's trash. I'm a good man. I've been thrown to the trash. I'm in the dumpster. Come find me. Because that's what they feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just be replaced. Like, just go off to the side. Now, I know it's reversed on the other side as well. So it's not just women ditching good men. It goes both ways. Yeah. But studying this topic specifically, it was like, I was shocked the amount of things that are out there right now.
Right. And I think the main issue is it's huge right now where women empower women and women's rights and women this and women that. But like, I don't want to be a woman that devalues a man because I want to be independent and empowered. Like, I want a good man that makes me feel empowered.
Right.
And that's okay. Yeah. So there was a couple things from that show that annoyed me because every single woman said something stupid. And
I know. I was like, shut
handyman.
up.
Yes. And I think she was trying to encourage like
her husband. I think she actually likes him.
Yeah.
The one girl, though, was like, I need my husband.
Yeah.
But all other
bash
men,
him.
she did
annoyed
not.
me, though.
She
She
did.
annoyed me because she was like, my husband would have been offended by what she said because she's like, oh, I need my husband and he's wonderful and this and blah, 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 blah. But all of their men are useless. And I'm like,
Oh, she said.
yes.
She said that. She said he specifically is wonderful and she loves
I need
him, and I
him.
need him. I need my husband.
But the rest of them are useless. And
everybody
that
else is useless.
that
I'm
is-
sorry, but we have sons, we have husbands, we
Yes.
have nephews, and men cannot be put into that category.
No.
Change has to happen.
And then there was one lady that was like, well, my husband's useless. Your husband's great. Like,
Right?
I'm like,
This is weird. So what happens when?
Wait, I thought all men were useless, but your husband's great, Joy.
you
Joy.
have problems.
What happens when they go home and their husbands are like, "Wait,
hello?
what did you talk about?"
Yeah.
Or wait, do they even know?
They don't.
Because that's the sad part. I bet they don't even talk about it. I
Oh
bet they
my
don't
gosh.
even talk to each other or have a relationship. How can you have a relationship and go on a national television show that is watched by tons of people? Like, I feel like we should boycott. Hello, boycott The View. No,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
watch it anymore.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I know. Sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah.
We are empowered right now as women to say what we
And
think.
then the other lady who was like, well, I just need him like 3 days a week.
Oh,
And I was like, are you kidding me?
yeah.
So that's
And
all.
then brings up her son
Yep.
to insult her husband, saying
Yes.
he wants extra
A
moms, but
spare
no more
mom.
dads. Yeah. Now,
awful.
I
I
also
mean, it would be
will
nice to
say
have extra hands, but come on.
to clean and cook
yeah.
and help each other. Yes. We've joked about that before. Like,
Yes.
I'll take some
We all want a
sister wives
chef.
if it means they'll clean and cook for me.
Right.
But they can stay away from my husband.
Yeah. They're not wives.
Yeah. Sister friends.
Friends. Ooh.
I don't know. It gets weird when we keep going this direction. But the other thing is the lady that talked about my husband will kill the spiders and he'll come out when the battery needs changed in the basement. And the handyman, she genuinely, I think, was trying to say.
Mandy, or
yeah,
Manny.
Handy Manny, she called him. I think she was genuinely trying to say, I need him. Like, he takes care of me. And then the other stupid lady says, well, you're going to hire somebody to do that. And I'm thinking, what? Then we could
So
be
then you're
replaced.
still gonna hire some man, or Joy? Are you gonna go get her spiders for her?
Right. Well, and then you think about us. That could be
Right.
said about us too.
Right.
Well, someone can get hired to cook. Someone can get hired to get you out of your filth that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
can't.
mean, we could hire for anything if
Yeah.
you wanted to. Sure.
Yeah, so that was bullcrap.
Like, wow.
The one thing they did say that I was like, okay, I can get on board with that.
Really?
is-
One thing?
There was one thing.
I didn't hear a single thing I
One
wanted to
thing.
get on
They
board with,
said-
but I'll listen.
Your girlfriends
Oh, I
are
did.
what make marriages last. And I do maybe think that's true sometimes because we help each other see what we can't always see. And
Yes,
we
absolutely.
we also speak
Right?
truth, and we'll be on each other's side until we shouldn't be anymore. And then we make sure that we wake each other up and we remind each other of the good men in our lives. Whereas
Yes.
we don't need people in our lives that will say you don't need him, because that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes me a little fired up. I feel
Ooh,
like my
I
eyebrows
feel
are
it.
super high.
The face is getting hot.
Getting riled up over here.
Red. Woo, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like I need a
Wow.
man. I need my man. And I need my girlfriends to remind me I need my man.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So, on the contrary,
Yeah.
we had another video that we watched.
Yeah.
And
I watched them all this time.
was a man who was saying how he felt, or how most men feel. So the title of it is Most Men, and it's a poem. It's written by Ozymandias M.I. That's the name of the poet. But it says this: most men will only experience unconditional love from their mothers, and some of them don't even get that. Most of us have never even felt appreciation or respect without conditions or hidden intentions. We don't know what it sounds like to hear, "I see you, I am proud of you, I am glad you're here. You really do make a difference." Yet, the expectation is to constantly be displaying the strength and love that the world is hesitant to convey. We're expected to have a thick skin, but get judged when it turns to a hard shell. The first step of being a man is ignoring the hunger, because yes, boy, you're going to be starving. Starved of attention, starved of affirmation, starved of love, starved of being told you're enough. And being a man is comfortability with replaceability. You are also only as good as you are useful. You are only as valued as you are needed by others. Should there even come a day, boy, where you fail to provide everybody with a smiling face, then do not be surprised. They say all men do is take up space.
That makes me sad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It is terrible. And those women confirmed that.
Yeah.
After watching both of those videos, I am like,
But we're
I hate women.
unconfirming that because we love the good men.
oh, we love the
Especially
good
the ones
men.
we married.
Yes.
I just don't understand. Like, I have a really hard time. Again, I'm going to say this with, like, I am raising boys in this world.
Yeah.
And it is hard for me. My husband's made it. So we're working through it. He's a good man. He has felt most of these things,
Oh, yeah.
if not more of these things. But he has a good woman who is encouraging him and constantly sees him and understands him and is trying really hard all the time to, like, make sure that he is seen. But, like, what are my boys gonna get? And I just have to pray constantly, like, for the right woman to be in their lives, because it scares me. Who's out there?
Yeah, all our kids are just going to have to marry each
gosh.
other.
Right?
There's
enough
other
of them, right?
There's
Others.
This is the thing too, is there's plenty of other people like us that are supportive of men in our lives. Not because we're weak women.
Right.
I feel like it makes you a weak woman to have to belittle a man, honestly. I've had crappy men in my life.
Sure.
I'm not saying that all men are wonderful and they should all be they should all have the same respect, because I don't think that that's true.
Agreed.
I want my daughters to never think that they need a man to the point where they would end up in that kind of relationship that isn't healthy for them. But I feel like the problem is those of us who don't want to go along with all of the modern thinking are quiet.
Yes.
We're quiet because we're trying to avoid conflict and drama and to be looked at like we're judging others. But if we don't want our boys to go through this, I feel like a lot more of us have to be a little louder.
I have to speak up. Mm-hmm. Controversy is real.
Yeah.
And I guess we just have to jump in,
Yikes.
which is scary because I'm not sure I want to be labeled all the time by that. But I'm like, okay.
The other frustrating thing, too, is like Disney shows or TV shows. Almost everyone, the dad is made to look like an idiot. Like they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And it's like funny, cute shows that we love as a family. Mm-hmm. And I never really noticed it, but my husband is like, why does the dad always have to like not know how to do something?
Or be like the quirky, weird guy
Yeah.
or something.
Like, why are they always dumb? Or the wife is like, you're an idiot. Like, it really,
I mean, that's true, though.
it is. And it's frustrating.
I mean, that's the core of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Is somewhere along the line, it could have been a long time ago,
Yeah.
that it was ingrained from probably a woman into a man, and it just went generation to generation.
Somebody was hurt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they
Yeah. And please hear us. Like, we're not
viewed it.
out there saying every man is
Yeah.
good. Again, like,
Yeah.
we are
Because it's
not.
hard. Like, if you get hurt by somebody,
Yes.
it's hard to trust any of, like, like any man. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And I think that that's so, like, I've always had really good men in my life personally. Like, my dad was really good, and then my husband was really good. But I have worked for some really terrible men.
Yeah.
And I know, like,
Yeah.
what those men are like.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're useless. And I don't think that they're just a space, like, taking up space. I think they have a purpose. They just are off of their track.
Yeah. And there's nothing in us saying we should be under the thumb of a man like that.
No.
Or treated disrespectfully or be a welcome mat. Like, that isn't what we're advocating for at all.
So please hear that.
Yeah.
Like, know that we understand that men have hurt women. And that's where some of this comes from.
Yeah. But I can strongly, without a doubt, say we can be empowered. We can be independent. We can be strong. We can be leaders. We can be used. We can be successful without demeaning men.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And actually, it kind of gives us more power if we're not demeaning the man.
Yeah.
Because it makes us look really, really bad.
Yes.
Like, and so your character in that is destroyed, essentially. So, like, who are you that you would be successful in all of these things, but because you demeaned the man? Okay, so I have a couple other questions. So how do fathers play a role in raising sons who understand the evolving landscape of gender dynamics?
What?
Kelly.
Takes me a long time to process these
Okay,
questions.
so I guess just be how does a father parent sons in today's society and culture?
Listen, men, it is important to be a good man, a good example, a genuine person, somebody who does more than provide physical needs, because your sons are watching you. It's going to teach them how to be a husband. It's going to teach them how to be a friend. It's going to teach them how to be a dad. And if you're not trying to be a good man and a good leader, they're going to follow suit, most likely.
Yeah.
Because you carry that stuff with you. You learn it, and then that's how you act.
Yes.
Well, and I feel like right now it's screaming at them.
Yes.
So everything is screaming at them to be something other than a good man.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were saying, it's important because these boys are going to be fathers and husbands, and generational things happen. And I just feel like we just need to make sure that they are being taken care of. Also, I think I think that it is important. I watch Aaron do this, where he is very intentional with our boys right now, and we have teens. So he started doing this when they were like 10, but like intentionally taking them out and intentionally being open and learning who they are, and then them learning who he is, and the intentionality of having dinner together and sitting and him making that time for them, I think just builds that character like even more and more and more. So they've been, Strider's 11 and Pacey's 13. So Pacey has actually been going to dinners with him monthly for 3 years now. And I feel like those moments are super important. Well, they're important to Pacey because he knows that that's where he can have conversations with his dad. He knows that he can tell his dad anything and that they can talk together. And I feel like that's super important. But like, just in general, intentionality is important for men.
Okay, so I hate when I feel like I should share something, but then I'm nervous to share it because I don't know who's going to listen to this. But I feel like it's important to say. I think maybe the reason that I get so fired up about this topic, is just kind of hitting me at this moment, is because I didn't have a healthy view or outlook on what a good man was for a lot of my life. So I went into marriage, I don't want you to close my door. I can close my own darn door. Like, what are you doing? I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. Don't wait for me to walk on the elevator. I will get on the elevator when I'm ready to get on the elevator. I am independent. I am strong. I don't need you. I don't need affection. I don't need love. Like, that is the type of woman that I was in early adulthood. I don't want to need anybody. I don't want my girls to feel like they don't want to need anybody. I want them to know it's good. Like,
Right.
with the right man, with a good man, with somebody who is not perfect. None of them are perfect, right? They're all going to struggle because we're human.
Right.
I'm not saying that anybody has this perfect man.
Oh, yeah.
But if you aim for the right kind of man, you work towards something amazing, right? But so when I say I don't want my girls to ever feel like they need a man, I just mean nobody knows what their future holds, and I want them to be self-sufficient if they need to be. It's okay to be on your own if you need to be, if you don't have that kind of relationship one day. But more importantly, I want them to know how to have a healthy view of a man and a partnership with somebody, because you don't want to be in that place where you think I'm good on my own. I got this.
Right.
Because then you don't have humility. You get a little cocky. You protect yourself. You have these walls up, and you're just kind of hard. So this is a crazy confession I'm about to make on this podcast right now, but like, I could not even tell my husband that I loved him. I could not say those words to him until 1 month before we got married. And I know we got married fast, but
9 days. I'm just kidding.
we were engaged to be married.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say it. I couldn't, because that opens yourself up to needing somebody, to relying on somebody, to being vulnerable to somebody. And I don't know. I don't want to teach all men are useless. You know?
Oh, no. Yeah.
That might have been TMI, but I had to get it out there.
I grew
No,
up
I think it's great.
with a dad that did all of the right things.
Yeah.
Probably more than he should have, to the point where I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to go pick up green beans? You know what I mean? Like, I could go, but you should go because you should. Like, I don't know. Like, he would just go, I mean, he would do whatever.
Yeah.
But my dad was just a good man. He loved my mom, and everybody knew it, and everybody still knows it. Like, he shows her that still, like, all the time. Like, so I had that in my mind. But so when we first got married, I had some expectations that were a little ridiculous.
Of what a good man was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have an amazing man who's always encouraging me and always, like, you know, pushing me to do more, like, just to be better at who I am. So, and not needing him for everything.
Yeah.
But yet loving me and showing me and encouraging me to do the things I need to do.
Yeah.
But I grew up that way, and then I found a good man. So I just pray my girls find good men because they've seen it. And Lenny is very good with, like, the boys, like, openness and talking to them and all of those things as well. So
Yeah.
teaching them how to be good men.
Yeah. What's funny to me about what you just said is it really doesn't. We had, like, completely opposite extremes where you're like, oh, I need a man. I don't want to be independent because this is just what you're supposed to do as a good man. Just because that's what was in your head, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, screw you, I got this. So, like, there's really this middle ground that we have to find and have to teach our girls to find, where it's okay to be an independent woman. Like, we don't have to be the barefoot, pregnant trad wife at home.
Yeah.
Right.
But we can be a good traditional wife still. We can be a good traditional woman still. And look for a good traditional man that we need, but we don't, like, need to the point where we can't function without them.
Right.
So when I was growing up, I wanted to get married young and start a family right away, and I just wasn't meeting the right person.
Yeah.
And I finally was like, I can't wait around for this man. I need to do what I want to do.
Yes.
So then I went to college and I got a degree, and then I went on to get a bachelor's degree, and I did all the things, and I got a job. and then the man came. So I want to teach my girls too. Like, you can't just like wait for this magical man to drop from heaven and
Yeah.
provide all your every need.
Yeah.
You need to set your goals and your dreams and reach for them.
Yes.
And when the man comes into the picture, perfect.
Yes.
Then he's just part of that adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, I was raised definitely with a dad. My dad was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of great times together. And so I just know, like, he loved my mom. He loved us. He would do anything for us. And I knew that that's what I wanted. I needed to have a man. Like, that's what I felt like I needed. But at the same point, my parents raised me to be super independent. I had a job when I was 18, working full time. Like, I was not allowed to just be lazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, I had to be independent. I had to pay my car payment. I had to pay my rent. Or not my rent. Well, I did have to pay my rent when I lived outside of my home. But I had to pay my car insurance. I had to go get oil changes. Like, they taught us, like, how to do those things. And I felt like, so that was important. But at the same time, I felt like I was very needy in the man area. Like, I was like, I need to have a man because it makes me feel better. And so that was the side of me. But I was still the stubborn, unhumbled person that was like, and I'm going to tell you how to be. And
I need you, but I'm going to tell you how I need you to be.
Right, yeah. You don't need anything from me, though.
Right. That's funny.
So, yeah. So, last question. I just feel like we need to discuss this or give words of advice. As women who have good men, how do we show our men that they're valued? How do we do that in our everyday lives? And how can we encourage others to do that as well?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No,
No. Nope. We haven't talked much at all. I am not cutting you off.
Okay, so it's very easy as a mom of 4 to not really think about the things that they're doing. So, like, early on, like, I never would, like, show the appreciation or just tell him, like, I really appreciate, like, what you're doing. And it's a lot of words of affirmation and just doing little things just to help him throughout his day, like, to let him know that he's valued and that he's taken care of here when he goes out and does what he needs to do to provide for us. So I, like, in the early on, I did not do well with showing him my appreciation for all he does for us because I was drowning in diapers and nursing and all the things that I was doing. But as time has gone on, I have realized, like, I am, like, super thankful and grateful for the man that I have. And I just need to make sure I let him know that. So a lot of it's just me telling or sending the text, like, just in the middle of the day. Just that is what I do.
Yep. I, again, was not the best at this when I was younger. And I feel like as I have gotten older, I have gotten better because I personally have gotten better as a person. And so I understand things better. But now I'm very specific. Like, our house is a safe zone. You can be open, you can be emotional, you can be whatever you need personally to talk about. Like, I feel like it's like open space, safe zone for that to happen. And I'm not going to judge you. Like, I'm not going to judge my husband for feeling depressed or for having overwhelming feelings of work or, you know, all of the things that I could just be like tossed to the wind, where I know that it's like defeating for him sometimes. And so I feel like that open space home is being like that peaceful environment. But I also do the whole, like, try really hard, like words of affirmation, making sure he knows and hears me say to him, I'm proud of you. you are doing a great job. Thank you for providing for our family. Thank you for protecting our family. Thank you. And genuinely thanking him. And instead of it just being like, oh, thank you. Or like not even acknowledging some of those things. And then after watching that video about the guy who said most men feel this way, I literally like left yesterday to leave the house and I was like, I see you. I feel you. I love you. And I was just like, I just need him to know, like, I see you.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
Like, you are not doing well or you're doing great, but I see it. I see it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just making sure that I'm aware, and because sometimes it is hard. It's hard when you've got kids and you're going here and you're going there, just to make sure that you're like, okay, I know you always check on me and I need to make sure I'm checking on you.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband is a man of few words.
Oh,
So I could be wrong in what I'm saying. Maybe I'll confirm with him later. But I'm an over-encourager. So I'm an overly words of affirmation kind of person. And I don't think that that is actually what he wants from me.
okay.
So maybe it's because he gets it. So he's like, oh my gosh, okay, I know. But like, I think for him, it's always been about like feeling respected for what he does and making sure that, and I felt, so it's funny because when I talk about having like respecting him, I think I used to have it in my mind. Like, that's not, when you say it that way, it makes me feel like I'm a kid. Like I need to have respect for you. But that isn't what it is. And he just wants to know that I value and respect him and appreciate him. And so I don't know. I don't know that he really wants tons of words of affirmation. I think they're good sometimes. But I could probably pull back on it a little bit. For him, it's more showing him that I'm thankful for all he does and appreciate him by listening when he needs to talk, and making sure that the busyness of our day or like wanting to watch a show together or something doesn't affect him being able to like use me as an outlet and talk to me about things that are going on at work or something like that. And then also just showing him, like we talked about this in the last one of the last episodes, that I hear the things that make him feel at peace and that I'm trying to do that in return. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also think, I know that this sounds kind of like cheesy, but like sometimes it's just like a hug
Yeah.
that like are like, oh, thank you. Like, you do see me or something like that.
Yeah.
And so like, I know that for Aaron, sometimes it's just like me rubbing his back or like, so I was thinking about that as you were talking, like sometimes it's not always words.
Yeah.
And that's
Sometimes
important.
it's a good old butt grab.
Right. Oh,
You be looking good.
Yeah.
woohoo. But yeah, so good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything, final words that you want to talk about or say?
Just if you have boys, just teach them to be good men.
Yeah. And if you have girls, teach them that respecting good men doesn't make you any less.
Yeah. Be empowered by respecting men.
Yes.
Because I think that that's what women's empowerment should be.
And the good men will empower you.
Yes, you will be empowered.
Yes.
Trust us, you will be empowered. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Traditional husbands. Whether you're making sure the lights stay on or offering a shoulder to lean on, are a mix of old school charm and modern love. And if there's one takeaway, it's this. Whether traditional or modern, it's about showing up, being kind, and loving your partner with everything you've got. Be sure to hug the men in your life today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Calm, the Storm, the Whimsy podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay tuned for our next episode.
please change battery.
Yeah.